I reconnected with a girl I met online. Little did I know everything about her was a lie. It was the summer of 2020 when I first met Priya. What started as casual online conversations quickly evolved into something more. At first, we didn't think much of it, just exchanging thoughts on common interests, hobbies, and the usual small talk. But as time passed, I realized how effortlessly we connected. Priya was engaging, lively, and had this warmth about her that made every conversation feel natural and easy. Eventually, we discussed the idea of being in a relationship. However, I hesitated, telling her that it probably wouldn't work out. We were from different states, yet shared the same ethnicity, and I feared that the distance would be too much to handle. At that point, I thought it was better to step back before things got too serious. After we stopped talking, I found myself constantly thinking about her. I realized that I had developed feelings for her, feelings I couldn't just push aside. It took me about 3 months to move on, but eventually, I did. I accepted that it was just one of those fleeting online connections that wouldn't lead anywhere. Fast forward to 2024, and Priya reached out to me again. Her message was simple, but seeing it took me by surprise. She told me how she had moved to Kerala for a new job. We began talking again, and it felt like no time had passed. We both confessed that we still had feelings for each other. And for the next 6 months, things seemed perfect. At least, I thought they were. But as time went on, I started noticing things that didn't add up. Priya told me about her sister, Anika, who had 2 kids. At first, I didn't think much of it, but as we continued talking about her family, something about her sister seemed off. I realized I had never actually met Anika, nor had I ever heard anything concrete about her. There were no voice notes, no contact information, no pictures, nothing that would make her seem real. Whenever I asked Priya about meeting her family, she always made excuses, saying they were busy or that it wasn't the right time. One evening, we met up, and that's when things started to unravel. We were together, taking some photos, and that's when I noticed something strange. Priya removed one of her 3 rings while we were posing, something I hadn't seen her do before. I didn't think much of it at first, but then she mentioned that her phone had been damaged, so she was using her sister's phone. I found that really odd, but I didn't want to press the issue. Then, she told me that her mom and sister had to leave for a relative's funeral. I couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right, but I didn't want to jump to conclusions just yet. The next day, I decided to do some searching. I found several social media accounts under the name Anika, but to my surprise, the photos on one of those accounts were all of Priya. This wasn't what I expected at all. To confirm my suspicions, I messaged both accounts, one belonging to Priya and the other to Anika. When Priya was offline, the messages wouldn't go through, but once she turned on her data, the messages were delivered to both Priya's and Anika's accounts. That was when I realized that my suspicions were right. Now that I think about it, I was ignoring a lot of subtle red flags. Like the time when Priya told me that her sister's children referred to her as Uma. For those who don't know, in Kerala, that's what children call their mothers. But Priya was supposed to be their aunt, not their mother. She explained that it was a custom in her family, but it still felt wrong to me. Then this other time, on Mother's Day, a post popped up on social media from Priya's niece with a picture of her child in the foreground and Priya standing in the background. Why would an aunt be included in a Mother's Day post? It didn't make sense. Now that I had evidence, it was time. I couldn't ignore it anymore. I confronted her, demanding the truth. That's when she admitted that there was no sister. She told me her sister had died years ago, first from a tumor, then later claimed it was an accident. But the lies kept coming. She told me that her brother-in-law had tried to take her identity and replace some documents to cover the truth. She even told me that if I checked government records, I wouldn't find anything under the name Priya in their city. The whole thing was unraveling in front of me. The woman I had trusted, the woman I had reconnected with after all these years, had been lying to me from the start. The betrayal was deep. She wanted to continue being friends, but I couldn't see how that would be possible. I had lost all the trust I'd once had for her. It was a hard decision, but I knew I had to cut ties. I couldn't allow someone who had lied and manipulated me like this to have any further space in my life. Despite everything she said, despite her apologies, I couldn't find it in myself to forgive her. It felt like a deep wound that would never heal. Since then, I've been trying to heal. It's been a long process. I'm 29 now, and as I near my 30th birthday, I can't help but wonder, will I ever find love? Can I trust someone again after what happened with Priya? I'm not sure what the future holds, but right now, I'm focusing on myself. I'm learning to take care of my mental and emotional health. I've even started considering therapy to help me process everything, because this is a lot to handle. The pain of this betrayal has been harder to deal with than I could ever imagined, but I know I need to move forward. I can't change what happened, but I can choose how to move forward. I've learned so much from this experience, especially about trust and self-worth. It's not easy, but I'm doing my best to heal and regain my confidence in myself.